Hi everyone. Today we will solve MCQ extended of year 2022 Feb March. Okay, so let's have a look at the first question. Which gas has the fastest rate of diffusion? So here they have given all the four options. How you are going to find out? For that, you have to first of all find out the mass of all the options given here. So first is hydrogen. Okay, that is we are having two hydrogen atoms here. That is why 2 into 1 is the atomic mass of hydrogen, which is equal to 2. In case of methane, 12 is for atomic mass of carbon. And we have four hydrogens. That is why 1 into 4, which gives us 16. We'll do the same with other two options also. Here, the one which is having the lowest mass will have the fastest rate of diffusion. So this is how you find out. So the lowest mass is of hydrogen. In which state does 1 dm cube of methane contain the most particles? So it is gas at 100 degrees Celsius, gas at room temperature, a liquid or a solid. So the correct option is solid because in solid the particles are tightly packed to each other. So chances are there that more particles are present there in the solid state. Which statement explains why isotopes of same element have the same chemical properties? They have same electronic structure, they have the same relative mass, same nucleon number, same proton number. Okay, so it is true that they have same proton number, but the chemical properties depend upon electrons. Okay, so they have same electronic structure. So here, for example, we are having two isotopes of chlorine, chlorine 35 and chlorine 37. Now, both of them are having same atomic number, that is 17. Okay, so the electronic structure for both of them will be same. That is why they have the same chemical properties. Next, the electronic structure of atom P and Q are shown. So here both the electronic structure of P and Q is shown. P and Q have an ionic compound. So they have already told you whether it is a covalent or ionic compound. What is the formula of the compound Q? So if you will observe P carefully, you can see that there are two electrons, okay, which are not forming any pair, and in Q there is one electron outside. So for this one electron we need one Q, and for another electron we need another Q. Okay, so 1 times P and we need 2 times Q. So the formula becomes PQ2. Fermentation of sugar produces a mixture of ethanol solution and solid yeast. How is the solid yeast removed from the mixture? So it is removed by using filtration. No need of crystallization and fractional distillation, as it is yeast is in solid state and not in liquid state. Okay, so it's an easy process by filtration. Which row explains why copper is a good conductor of electricity at room temperature? So now if you observe, copper here is given in a solid state. That is, it is a metal. Okay. So in the options, copper ions move freely. No. Electricity is conducted due to moving electrons. So electrons move freely. So yes. So second option is correct. Which pair of statements about diamond and graphite is correct? Diamond and graphite are both pure carbon. It is true. These both are made up of only carbon atoms. They are both macromolecules. It is true. Macromolecule or giant covalent structure also they are known as. In the other options, diamond and graphite are both used as electrode. The first half is wrong because only graphite is used as electrode and not carbon. And not diamond. Okay, so that is wrong. Diamond has covalent bonds, graphite has ionic bonds. So first half of statement is correct that diamond has covalent bonds, but second half that graphite has ionic bonds is wrong. Graphite also has covalent bonds only. Diamond is hard with a high melting point. Graphite is soft with a low melting point. So again, the first half is correct here, but in second half, graphite is soft, but still it is having a high melting point. So again, that is wrong. Okay, that is why option A is correct. Sodium nitride contains the nitride ion N3 minus. Sodium nitride is unstable and decomposes into its elements. what is the equation for the decomposition of sodium nitrite? So here, first of all, the formula of sodium nitrite is Na3N. Okay. So option A and option C are cancelled here. We have two options, B and D, where correct formula is written. Okay. Now here, if you see, after decomposition, the products are sodium and nitrogen. Okay. So in option B, it is Na plus N2. And if you see the balancing, it is 2 3s are 6 sodium and only 2 nitrogen, which is N2 written properly. Whereas in D, as nitrogen is diatomic, we always write it N2 and not 2N. Okay. So option D is wrong here. Next, compound X contains carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen only. By mass, it contains 26.7% carbon and 2.2% hydrogen. What is the empirical formula of X? Okay, so now in this case, they have given that the compound contains high carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Okay, and here they have only given the percentage of carbon and hydrogen. So, how we are going to find out about oxygen? Now, as it is given in percentage, what we are going to do it consider as 100. Okay. So we will add these two, 26.7 plus 2.2, which will give us 28.9. We will subtract that from 100, which gives us 71.1. So this is the percentage of oxygen present in that compound. Okay. Now we will find the formula for that. We will write this separately, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and the percentage which we have got. Okay. We are going to divide it by the atomic masses of all these elements. So 26.7 divided by 12 atomic mass of carbon. Same with 2.2 divided by 1 for hydrogen and 71.1 divided by 16 in case of oxygen. After dividing all this, we get a value of 2.25 for carbon, 2.2 for hydrogen, and 4.48 for oxygen. Okay. Now, from all these values, the value which is smallest, we have to consider that. So the smallest value here is 2.2. Okay. We will use that and subtract and we will use this value and divide with all the other values. So 2.25 divided by 2.2, 2.2 divided by 2.2, and 4.48 divided by 2.2. Okay. So here you will get the values. Okay. So here, after dividing, we get these values: 1.01 for carbon, 1 for hydrogen, and 2.03 for oxygen. Okay. So if we consider this whole numbers, we will ignore the values after a decimal point. Okay. So it is 1 is to 1 is to 2. Okay. So it is 1 is to 1 is to 2 here. So that is one carbon atom, one carbon element, one hydrogen, and two oxygen. So the formula will be D, CHO2. Okay. Cesium fluoride is an ionic compound. Which statement about cesium fluoride are correct? It conducts electricity when solid. Now, ionic compounds do not conduct electricity when they are in solid state. They conduct either in liquid state or in molten state. Okay, so this first option is wrong. It is high melting points. It is true. It is soluble in water. That is true. And it is highly volatile. So again, this is wrong. Ionic compounds are not volatile. Okay. So 2 and 3 is the correct option. Which diagram shows the direction of ions and electrons during the electrolysis of molten sodium chloride? Okay. Now direction of movement of electrons and ions we have to see. So electrons, they move from anode towards cathode from the external supply, that is through the wires. Okay. And here ions, they move from cathode to anode. Okay. So option A is correct. Okay. Next, calcium carbonate reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid to produce carbon dioxide. The equation for the reaction is shown. The relative formula mass of calcium carbonate is 100. The equation is given here. Okay. 10 grams of calcium carbonate is reacted with an excess of dilute hydrochloric acid. Which mass of carbon dioxide is produced? So here they have given us the relative formula mass of calcium carbonate, and only how much amount of calcium carbonate is used to react is given. Okay. And the equation is given. Now using this given data, we are going to find out the mass of carbon dioxide formed. So here, see, first we are going to find out moles of calcium carbonate. So how moles are formed? Given mass upon molar mass. So given mass is 10 grams upon molar mass, that is relative formula mass is 100. So 10 divided by 100, which gives us 0.1. So 0.1 is moles of calcium carbonate. Now, as we have to find for CO2, we will take a ratio of calcium carbonate is to CO2. Okay. Now, there is no number written in front of calcium carbonate or in front of carbon dioxide. So, it is a 1:1 ratio. Now, below calcium carbonate, we will write its mole, that is 0.1. For CO2, we have to find it out. So, it is X. We will cross multiply it. Okay. So, as it is 1, there is no need of dividing or doing anything. So the value will remain same 0.1. Okay. So moles of CO2 is also 0.1. Now to find out the mass, okay, we are using the same formula, that is so the formula remains same, that is moles is equal to given mass upon molar mass. Okay. Now in case of carbon dioxide, we know the moles, which is 0.1. We know the molar mass, which is 44. Okay. And we have to find the mass, that is this one. So what we are going to do, we are just going to simply cross multiply. So again, moles into molar mass, that is 0.1 into 44, which will give you 4.4. So this is the correct option C here. Molten sodium chloride and concentrated aqueous sodium chloride are electrolyzed using platinum electrodes. What are the products at the negative electrode in each electrolysis? So in case of molten sodium chloride, when any compound is given in molten state, okay, the compound itself become the products. Okay, so here for example we are having sodium chloride. So at cathode the product will be sodium, and at anode the product will be chlorine. For example, it is if it is potassium bromide, molten potassium bromide, so same for cathode it is potassium, and for anode it is chlorine. So here at in molten sodium chloride, sodium will be formed, and when it is a concentrated aqueous solution, instead of sodium, hydrogen is produced. Okay, as sodium is more reactive, it will stay in the solution. So hydrogen will be produced here. So option C is correct. An object is electroplated with silver using an aqueous silver salt as the electrolyte. Which row is correct? So here this question is about electroplating. Okay, so the object to be electroplated will be present at cathode always, and the other electrode is made from. Now here we are going to electroplate it using silver, so definitely the anode will be made up of silver. So option D is correct. Which row describes the changes that occur in an endothermic reaction? So what is an endothermic reaction? Energy is taken in from the surroundings. That is an endothermic reaction. Okay, and the temperature decreases of the surroundings. So here, first, energy given out, that is totally wrong. For endothermic, energy is taken in. Second is same, so B is also wrong. For third, energy takes in from the surroundings is correct, and temperature of the surroundings also decreases is correct option. For fourth one, This definition is correct, but temperature that increases, which is given wrong. Okay, so option C is correct. Which statement about fuels is correct? Heat energy is only produced by burning fuels. No, not only heat energy is produced. Okay. Second, hydrogen is used as a fuel, although it is difficult to store. Yes, it is true. Methane is good fuel because it produces only water when burnt. No, this is wrong. Methane, when it is burnt, it produces both carbon dioxide and water, and not only water. That is why this statement is wrong. Uranium is burned in an air to produce energy. So no, uranium is a radioactive element. Okay, it is not directly burned in air. So that statement is wrong. Which statement about endothermic and exothermic reaction is correct? Now, in an endothermic reaction, less energy is absorbed in bond breaking. So this is totally wrong. Why? Because in case of endothermic reaction, more energy is required for breaking the bonds. Okay. Second option, in endothermic reaction, the activation energy is always higher than in an exothermic reaction. No, again, that is wrong. In an exothermic reaction, more energy is absorbed in bond breaking. No, this is wrong. For an exothermic reaction, the reactants are already having some amount of energy with them, and that is why they are at a higher energy level. So no more amount of energy is required for bond breaking. Okay, so that is wrong. In next option D, in an exothermic reaction, the reactants are higher on an energy level diagram than the products. So it is true. For exothermic reaction, energy level diagram, the reactants are at a higher energy level. So that will show you. So this is energy pathway diagram for exothermic reaction, where the reactants are at a higher energy level and products are at a lower energy level. Okay. And it needs very less energy, less activation energy is required. Only this much. Okay. The reaction used to manufacture ammonia from nitrogen and hydrogen is reversible. An equilibrium is established between ammonia, nitrogen, and hydrogen. Which statement describes the equilibrium? So, both the forward reaction and the backward reaction have the same rate. It is true. In an equilibrium reaction, the rate of forward and backward reaction is equal or same. That is correct. The rate of backward reaction is greater than the rate of forward reaction, and similar with C. So no, just now we said that for both forward and backward, the rate of reaction is same. Okay, so option B and C is wrong. The forward and backward reaction has both stopped. Again, this is wrong. Next, how does increasing the concentration affect the reacting particles in a chemical reaction? So it increases the collision rate. Yes, it is true. When you increase the concentration, number of particles or molecules increases. So there are high chances of these particles colliding more. Okay, so collision will increase. Increase the proportion of particles with the activation energy. No. So when you increase the concentration, it just increases the number of particles, but but it does not increase the energy with respect to the particles. Okay, so only collision will increase, but not necessary that all the molecules will have higher activation energy. Okay, if instead of concentration they would have asked for temperature, so option B would have been correct, because collision will also increase, and because of increasing temperature, all the particles will gain more amount of energy, and there is a chance of increasing the activation energy also. Next, methyl orange is added to dilute HCl and to aqueous sodium hydroxide. What is the color of methyl orange in each solution? So in cases of acids, methyl orange gives a red color, and in case of alkali, it gives an yellow color. Okay, so this you have to keep in mind. It is in general. For acids, it is red color, and for alkali, it is yellow color. Zinc oxide is an amphoteric oxide. Which type of substance will react with zinc oxide? So amphoteric are the oxides that react with both acids and bases, or they can behave also as an acid or a base. Okay. So option A is correct. It will react with both acids and bases. Information about some silver compounds is shown in the table. Okay. They have given the formula also, and whether they are soluble or insoluble in water is also given. Which equation shows a reaction which cannot be used to make a silver salt? Okay, now in this case, one thing you have to keep in mind that silver as a metal directly does not react with acids. If you see the reactivity series, silver is at the bottom of the reactivity series. So copper, silver, they do not directly react with acids. They can react either in the form of a compound. Okay. So in all the reactions, if you will observe, silver nitrate reacting with HCl, silver oxide reacting with nitric acid, silver carbonate reacting with nitric acid. So all these are silver compounds which are reacting with acids. But in option D, direct silver metal is reacting with acid. So this is not possible. Okay, so option D is the correct option. Aqueous ethanoic acid is a weak acid, which is already given in the question itself. And aqueous sodium hydroxide, it is a strong base. Aqueous ethanoic acid is neutralized by aqueous sodium hydroxide. Which statements are correct? Aqueous ethanoic acid accepts protons from hydroxide ions. So this first statement is wrong. Acid is a proton donor and not a proton acceptor. So that is wrong. The aqueous ethanoic acid is fully dissociated into ions. Again, this statement is wrong because ethanoic acid is a weak acid which is given in the question, and weak acids partially dissociate and does not dissociate fully. Okay. The aqueous sodium hydroxide used is fully dissociated into ions. Yes, it is true because it is a strong base, and that is why strong base will fully or completely dissociate into ions. The reaction produces an acid and a salt. Yes, it is a reaction between an acid and a base. So definitely it will produce salt and water. So 3 and 4, both options are correct. That is why option D is the correct option. Three properties of element X are listed. It contains atoms with a full outer shell of electrons. It is a monoatomic gas. It is unreactive. Okay. So here it has a full outer shell. That is one hint. It is monoatomic in nature and it is unreactive. Okay. So full outer shell, it means it belongs to group 8, that is noble gases, and it is unreactive. In which part of the periodic table the element placed? So it is group 8. Okay. Which word equation represents a reaction that occurs? So first is sodium oxide plus carbon. Now sodium is a highly reactive element. So carbon will not able to replace it. That is why option A will not occur. Sodium oxide plus iron. Again, sodium is more reactive element. So iron will not able to displace sodium. Okay, so this reaction will not occur. Iron oxide plus copper. Again, copper is less reactive than iron, and that is why it will not able to displace iron. So this reaction will not occur. Option D, iron oxide plus carbon. So yes, carbon can displace iron as it comes above iron in the reactivity series. Okay, so it is more reactive and it will definitely displace iron. So this reaction will occur. So option D is correct. Which statement about the extraction of aluminium is correct? Aluminium is formed at cathode during the electrolysis of aluminium oxide. Yes, it is true. Cathode is a negative electrode and aluminium is a cation consisting of positive charge. Okay, so definitely aluminium is produced as cathode. Hematite is mainly aluminium oxide. Option B is wrong because hematite is the ore for iron and not for aluminium oxide. C. Molten cryolite is used to raise the melting point of aluminium oxide. No, wrong. Molten cryolite is actually used to decrease the melting point of aluminum oxide. Okay. Oxygen gains electrode at the anode during the electrolysis of aluminum oxide. So again, this is wrong. Oxygen will release electrons at anode. Okay. So option A is correct. Metal M is mixed with copper to produce brass. What is metal M? Now, brass is an alloy. Okay. So brass is made up of two elements, that is zinc and copper. The table gives some properties of an element. Melting point 3422. The element is gray in color. It is the appearance of chloride of the element is having dark blue color. Its density is 19.2 and it is a good conductor of electricity. So you can observe that it is having a higher melting point. It is a colored compound, colored element. Okay. Compound is also having some color. It is having high density and also good conductor of electricity. All these properties are of transition elements. Now, which other property does this element have? So as we have understood, it is a transition element. Definitely, it will also act as a good catalyst. Okay. Ammonia is produced using Haber's process. Which row shows the source of raw materials and reaction conditions? Source of nitrogen. So we get nitrogen from air. Source of hydrogen, we get it from hydrocarbons. Okay. Temperature used is 450 degrees Celsius here and pressure used is 200 atmospheric pressure. So option C is correct. How many species are acting as bases in this reversible reaction? So it is two species. How many species are acting as bases in this reversible reaction? So here you can see this is acid HNO3 plus water. Okay. HNO3 is giving its proton to water. Okay. To form H3O plus. Now, as this reaction is reversible, this proton is donated to NO3 to form HNO3 again. So, two species are acting as bases here. The equation for a reaction occurring in the contact process is shown. What is the catalyst used in this reaction? So in contact process, we use vanadium oxide as the catalyst. Which information about carbon dioxide and methane is correct? Formed when vegetation decomposes. Carbon dioxide is formed, methane cross. No, methane is actually formed, but they have given cross. So A is wrong. Both carbon dioxide and methane are greenhouse gases. That is true. Present in unpolluted air. Carbon dioxide is actually present in unpolluted air, but still they have given cross. So option C is wrong. Produced during respiration. So CO2 is produced. So there should be a tick here, but instead of that, they have given tick in methane. So that is wrong. The structure of an ester is shown. What are the names of the carboxylic acid and the alcohol that react together to form the ester? So here you can see after oxygen, we are having this compound, okay, which is having three carbon atoms. And this part comes from alcohol. Okay, so we are having this three carbon atoms. So it will be propanol. Okay, alcohol is propanol. And this part, here we have to consider this carbon also and this carbon also, which comes from carboxylic acid. Okay, so we are having two carbon atoms here. It means it is an ethanoic acid. So option B is correct here. Always remember the part which is on right hand side, that is after oxygen, this part, it comes from alcohol part. And this one, the left hand side of oxygen, it comes from carboxylic acid. Which statement about lime are correct? Lime is made by heating calcium carbonate. It is true. That is, when it is decomposed, we get CaO, calcium oxide. Lime is used to desulfurize flue gases. It is true. Calcium oxide is used for desulfurizing flue gases to remove sulfur from the gases. Okay. Lime is used to treat alkaline soil. No, we do not use to neutralize lime. Sorry, we do not use lime to neutralize the soil. Okay. The chemical name for lime is calcium oxide. That is correct. So 1, 2, and 4 are correct options. Which structure is correctly named? So here, first is ethanoic acid. It is true that it is an a carboxylic acid, but it is not ethanoic acid because it is containing 3 carbon atoms. Okay. So this naming part is wrong. In option B, it is actually an ethane. So this is wrong. In option C, we are having this OH group. So it is an alcohol and it contains 2 carbon atoms. So it is definitely correct, ethanol. And in option D, it is having a double bond. So it's an alkene and it is having 3 carbon compound, 3 carbon here. So it is propene actually. So again, this is wrong. Option C is correct. The structure of a part of polymer is shown. Which monomers can be used to make this polymer? So if you observe the structure, okay, this is the repeating unit here. Now, to make this, which monomers we can use? Okay, so if we put a double bond here in between, so yes, the first one, or we can say that it resembles somewhat. Okay, the second one also resembles to it. So that is 1 and 2 are correct. In the third option, C, if you will observe the polymer, chlorine and this methane group are attached to 2 different carbon atoms. But in option 3, both this group are attached to the same carbon atom. That is why this is wrong. And in fourth one, the whole structure is wrong. We have only 1 chlorine here, and here they have shown 2 chlorines. Okay, so this is wrong. So 1 and 2 is correct. Carboxylic acids are made by the oxidation of alcohols. Which carboxylic acid is produced from CH3, CH2OH? So here we are having only 2 carbon atoms. So only ethanoic acid can be produced out. Propene reacts with bromine in an addition reaction. Which structure represents the product of this reaction? Okay. So whenever we are having this addition reaction, the bromine will be attached to the carbon where double bond is present. Okay. So here in option A, only 1 bromine is attached. That is wrong. In option B, bromine is attached to the same carbon. Okay. The same carbon, both the bromines are attached. That is wrong. In case of C, bromine is attached to these 2 carbons. So if we actually observe the structure of bromine, there can be a double bond here and hydrogen instead of bromine, and here also hydrogen instead of bromine. Okay. And after addition, eh, these hydrogens are replaced. Okay, wait, I will draw it. Okay, so this is the structure of propene, okay, and there is a double bond in the first between first and second carbon atom. Whenever you are going to add bromine, this bromine will be added where double bond is present. Okay, so the bond here will break and it will form bond here. So there will be two bromines added here. Okay, so this C option is correct. Which statements about ethanol are correct? Ethanol is used as a solvent. Yes, it is true. Ethanol can be made directly from ethane. No, ethanol can be made from ethene. Okay, ethanol is an covalent compound. Yes, it is true. So option 1 and 3 are correct. Which diagram represents the structure of nylon? Option A is wrong. It is ester. There's a polyester. Option B, again, this is wrong. Okay. Here also it should have NH. It is having C double bond. So it is some kind of structure of protein. Option C, yes, it is correct. Here also it is NH. Here also on both sides it is having same functional group. And the linkage is also correct. CONH. D, it is wrong. One side it is ester linkage, another side it is amide linkage. That is wrong. Okay.